In ending option A, Franklin pursues Trevor Phillips to the outskirts of Los Santos until he crashes his truck into a propane tank. You then shoot the gas from the tank and Trevor goes down in a furious blaze. But why? Is this just for cinema? Or does this have a deeper connection to Trevor's character as a whole? Let's find out together, and if you do enjoy this video, please consider subscribing and leaving a like. The first thing we have to consider is that Trevor lived a very rough life if you think about it, sleeping in a trailer in the desert, making a living selling drugs which he also used. The fiery blaze could represent the fury that was the life that he lived. Michael also remarked that Trevor always liked gasoline, which he did occasionally drink on screen, and we will get to Michael's presence in this whole ordeal shortly. To say Trevor always embodied destruction would be an understatement. So to some extent, he got what he dished out in some brutal way. Trevor is also not a very emotional person, with the only one coming to my mind being when he first saw his mother in his trailer, which he might have hallucinated anyways. If he had an ending reminiscent of Dutch van der Linde's from Red Dead Redemption, where he met his end at a dead end, he wouldn't give a heart-touching monologue. If anything, he would probably beg to be killed. This ending suits this perfectly because Trevor didn't ask for pity. In fact, he did ask to be killed. Trevor said to just kill him, which Franklin did. And if Franklin does it, then someone else takes over. In some ways, Trevor Phillips and Dutch van der Linde are very similar. They are rather unemotional people, and they both had a gang that met a rather terrible ending. Although Michael kind of caused that, Trevor was a rather loose cannon, and so was Dutch towards the end of the gang. In the beginning, they saw hope in him. They saw hope in the gang's leader. But by the end, both of them wanted to get out. They both saw the gang leader as one that couldn't lead a gang further, and one that ultimately needed to be killed. Now we need to discuss an aspect of Trevor's ending that wasn't present in Michael's. While chasing Trevor, Franklin phones up Michael and tells him about the situation. Michael then agrees to catch up to Franklin and Trevor. Once Trevor is on the floor and Franklin is pointing the gun at him, if you hesitate for too long, Michael will step in and shoot the gasoline for you, killing Trevor in the process. After this ending, no matter if Franklin or Michael shot first, Michael cuts off contact with Franklin and even asks Franklin how he could do this. After choosing this option, it's clear that Michael didn't want any part of this deep down. Trevor was a loose cannon, sure, but Michael would have rather had Trevor move away or naturally go away otherwise. For Michael to be there, he always felt like he contributed to the death of his longtime friend, which he had already planned back in North Yankton, but he never went through, of course. Even though Franklin chose this route, but when given the opportunity, he still killed Trevor. Almost like there are two sides fighting against each other for the survival of Trevor. He may also feel guilty because he knows how loyal Trevor is. If Michael were in Trevor's position, he would immediately choose to kill Franklin over Michael any day of the week. But Michael wouldn't do the same for him. And of course, this is not the first time Michael tries to kill Trevor. After the Yankton job went bad, Trevor obviously had to figure out that once Brad got killed, and once he started to recreate the situation in his head, that he was the one who was supposed to be met by the bullet. However, he never brings this to Michael's attention, and I always thought that was kind of strange. The only thing he really focused on was Brad dying, which maybe proves his loyalty once again. He didn't even care about himself dying. He cared about his friend. Unfortunately for Trevor, on a surface level, his death makes complete sense. In fact, his ending mission is titled Something Sensible, as if Rockstar doesn't blame you if you chose this ending. Franklin justifies this exact choice in this scene right here.
But the way I see it, the way anyone normal would see it, not that any of this shit is normal, man, you gonna get us all fucking killed.
In Michael's ending, Trevor is not even there at all. Matter of fact, after you kill Michael, Trevor sends you a message as Franklin telling him that he will come after him and kill him, which of course he never does in the lore. Maybe he does off screen if you do choose this option, but we will never know, as Rockstar didn't explore this idea any further. And although Trevor wasn't the greatest citizen, matter of fact, he was quite a horrible one, it's still sad how he went out. He died at the hands of somebody who even in this moment he would probably still call his best friend. Most likely also never had a funeral, as he never really had anyone to care for him. Sure, there was Ron, but I assume Ron never finds his body, with him dying so far from Blaine County. He also had a decent bit of money left over after his death. Unfortunately, this money would have to go to no one, as Ron likely doesn't have access to his accounts, and Trevor doesn't have any family. We can also kind of confirm that his mother was a hallucination, as Lester never mentions Trevor having family members to transfer the money over to, which he does make mention of after Michael's ending, in which he transfers his cut of the score to his family, who eventually moves out after the job. If Trevor had family, Lester likely would have known and also would have transferred the money over to them, but instead, the take is split with the rest of the crew. So we can essentially deduce that Trevor has no family and died with no family. To me, Trevor always just seemed lost. He never had any real ambitions or goals, just Trevor Phillips Industries, which was an illegal smuggling operation. In some alternative timeline, where instead of drinking gasoline and doing crack, Trevor instead went to a therapist and got his issues in check, the story mode could have gone on for a much longer time, as the Union Depository job was only the last because Michael owed it to Trevor, as sort of an apology for the North Yankton situation. The new trio, Michael, Trevor, and Franklin, could have gone on to do more jobs, but after the UD, financially it makes no sense to continue further, as they are basically set for life, so long as they invest the money properly and don't develop any expensive habits, which we may never know occurred or not. This ending had the most potential to continue after the storyline, in my opinion, because of the sheer amount of material there is. Trevor is known as a crazy person, and he probably has a condition of sorts, or at least we can deduce that from his obviously kind of crazy mentality he has. It would have been cool to find out if Michael and Franklin could kind of deduce why Trevor was always the way he was. Michael, knowing him for a long time, ever since Ludendorff, probably has more to go off of than Franklin. But if the two of them got together, they could have figured out why Trevor acted the way he did, because in the story mode, everyone knows he acts crazy, but there's no real explanation for it. Maybe Trevor had a tragic childhood, or maybe he had a relationship that went terrible and messed up his mentality. We may never know, because the game never really lets on any further than what we know currently. And that is the unfortunate fitting end of Trevor Phillips in Option A. It is sad how things played out, but unfortunately, it is very sensible to how things played out. Michael's ending did make sense as well, because he was always the mentor to somebody. He always had to be better than someone else, and as such, he died to the hands of the person he so badly wanted to mentor. Trevor's ending makes sense because his thing was always loyalty. He hated being unloyal to anybody, and even was loyal to Michael up until the very moment where he killed him. It's very sad, and unfortunately just goes to show that those who you trust the most maybe shouldn't be there in your life at all. And thank you all for watching this video. If you did appreciate it, please leave a like and subscribe, as it does help out my channel, and thank you to Byron. If you'd like to be like Byron and get a custom license plate in GTA Online, all you have to do is subscribe to my channel, which you should be already, and it will be replaced by a button that says join. Click it for more details, and that is all. Have a great day, or night, or evening, and I'll see you all later. Goodbye.